right, Jocks and Jills, episode 17, presented as always by our friends at CCM. It's Julia Tasheri and Tessa Bonham with you. Happy playoffs, everyone. What a week it's been. We'll get into all of that very, very soon. Tessa, first of all, happy Mother's Day, girl. Not only are you the best mommy to Tank and Theo and Annie, you're also like queen of the moms on this podcast. So it's a very big day here on Jocks and Jills.
And happy Cat Mother's Day to you as well. Cat's Mother's Day. You're
Thank
a very
you
good
so
cat
much.
mother.
Thank you. We did get a happy Mother's Day email from a listener, and I noticed that they said happy Cat Mother's Day as well. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms on there, all the hockey moms, all the cat moms. We love you guys. You're all the best.
Yeah, moms, honestly, Mother's Day, growing up, I was like, yeah, of course I love my mom. I love my mom. And you think it's about loving your mom, but Mother's Day is truly just about appreciating all that they do and have done. And like, I had Genevieve Lacasse over a week or two ago, and I was giving her a bunch of baby stuff that I wanted to get out of my house because, of course, her and Emma Smashmeyer are expecting. And so the kids were home from school, and she's like, how much stuff does a mom have to hold in their hands? I'm like, oh, you'll learn quickly. So we went outside and we were going down the stairs from my deck, and I'm like, can you help Annie down? She's like, sure. And of course, my daughter is such a typical woman, even though she's a little girl. She had like 27 things she was carrying. So I'm like, Annie, hold the railing. So Annie turns to Lacasse and just starts handing her all of her stuff.
All of her items.
Lacasse was like, oh God, I need a pocket. I'm like, now you're learning. Now you know how much stuff moms need to hold. Anyways, that being said, definitely just moms, know that you are seen from Jocks and Jill's podcast. All that you do, all of the stuff you have to think about that you cannot stop thinking about at bed at night, the doctor's appointments, the laundry, the everything. Not to say that you're doing it all. I'm sure you all have great partners that are helping, but it's just you never get to turn your brain off, and you always keep things in line, and you're the one that is the oil for the engine. So thank you, all the moms out there, mine in particular, Debbie.
Yeah,
I love you, Mom.
Say, we got to shout out Deb and Anna. If this podcast only had 2 listens, it would be them. So shout out to them forever.
Yeah,
Those 2 are the
absolutely.
best.
Yeah, thank God for my mom. I don't know how she did it with my sister and I growing up, but man, I'm so thankful she was my mom. I sure as hell wouldn't be sitting here chatting with you like this if it weren't for her. So love you, Deb.
Yeah, we're lucky. We have the best. Shout out to my mommy as well. Anna, you're the best. Kindergarten teacher, soul of an angel. I don't know how she does it.
Me neither.
So happy Mother's Day to all the awesome moms out there. Big week in the PWHL. Kind of big week on Jocks and Jills. Thank you so much to CCM. We've been giving away a stick every single game on our Instagram and Twitter, a Jet Speed CCM stick. So make sure you're following us on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, where we're doing all these giveaways. And every game we're doing kind of a pick 'em. It's been a pick the first goal scorer of the game, pick the game winning goal scorer, and
everybody
comment your winner. Last 2 games, there's been no winner. Tess.
0 for 2, the last 2, everybody. Start picking better.
Creative, guys.
We're trying to give you stuff. Free stuff.
We're trying to give it away, guys. Take it from us. Get creative with your picks. Because the thing is, everybody's picking the best players, right? Like, and then, like, that's an oversaturated choice then. So then there's more people that we got to put into the draw. So if you pick kind of off the beaten path and you end up being right, you have a way better chance of winning. So I think that's the way to go if I were to be the one doing it.
Yeah, especially with the game winner. The first goal of the game, whatever. Game winner, poof. Especially between Boston and Montreal. You never know. I'll tell you, Julia, I have gained so much more gray hair. These games.
From these playoffs.
My goodness.
For real.
Been great.
The
loving
board
every minute of it.
as well, Tess. We have to bring up. Thank you, CCM, for those. We've been obsessed with seeing everybody tagging us in them on Instagram and Twitter as well. If you see them in Boston, in Minnesota, in Montreal, or in Toronto, make sure you tag us in them. We've been reposting everybody's, and there's going to be a prize at the end. We're going to go through everybody who's reposted, put together a nice little prize from some of our sponsors. So thank you for doing that. We appreciate you guys sharing our podcast and pumping our tires. The fact that it's in the rank, we love to see it.
Spread the word. Subscribe.
Woo. Subscribe everywhere. Also, Tessa, we had so much fun filming our bonus episode, and we have to address it here because we messed up the audio so bad. We are 2 girls. We mean well. We talk great about hockey. When it comes to technical production, we are idiots.
We're
Thank
not
God
it.
for our producer, Chris. He
Shout
saves
out
our butt
to Chris.
all the time. He did his best to make that sound better. We handed him like the biggest piece of shit ever, and we're like, make this gorgeous. And he was like, I'll try, I guess. Thanks a lot for this, ladies. Chris, thank you so much for helping. And thank you guys. We appreciate the feedback, and we did our best to fix it. We didn't have time to retape it. I wish we would have. But we hope that we're going to try our best to make sure that never happens again. And we hope you can hear us clearly right now.
I have a theory.
Tell us.
Because the mic pooped out, right? And it started recording off of just the computer. So that's why you could hear the two pigeons in the hot tub chatting the whole
There was also
time.
a couple requests in our DMs for the pigeons to be mic'd up. They're like, well, if we're going to hear them talk, like at least mic them up so we can hear their conversations fully, because they're like half engaged in what is going on.
They weren't even talking about what we were talking about. They had their own little boy talk going. High school. Yeah. Anyways,
they apologize also,
they did.
Even if they didn't show their cowardly faces on the podcast to apologize for it.
My theory is that our glass clink shorted the microphone because it was so incredibly clear.
My theory is that when we were trying to make it look nice, we messed up the settings and accidentally clicked the computer audio. But I like yours as well.
Yeah, perhaps. I guess we'll never know.
That was an epic glass clink on our part.
It was so good. But yeah, the guys do apologize.
That was the clearest part.
It was, man. Outside of the guys' voices, that was the clearest part. Yeah.
We're sorry. We love you guys. We appreciate you listening.
I mean, yeah, the guys do apologize. Ed actually made up for it. I had a pretty awesome, I don't want to say Mother's Day, I had a Mother's Day weekend, a wicked Mother's Day weekend. It was my cousin Ryan's 40th birthday. And he was like, you know what? Go take part in it on Saturday. So I went golfing for my cousin Ryan's 40th birthday. I'd had the kids all day. Came back home, little hot tub, watched 6 periods of hockey in one hockey game between Montreal and Boston.
Very casual.
Wild.
You were like a prune getting out of the hot tub. Like, I just wanted to watch some hockey in here, and now I can't feel my whole body.
Absolutely. And then the next day he's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to do absolutely zero. I want to do nothing. He let me sleep in. He made me a great breakfast. Wow. We went to the kids skating. We had a fun time outside. Yeah. And then wicked dinner. Actually, this is perfect, Julia. We hit up Baton Rouge. I remember we mentioned, that they launched their seafood menu. And I remember you and I talked about how it's hilarious because I'm not a big seafood eater. However, I did my research last episode and I saw that they have ribs and lobster, and I love garlic butter. This hit. Home run.
It was amazing.
I will be frequenting for said meal regularly. If you're like, Tess, you want to do dinner? I'm be like, I know where we're going and I know what I'm getting. This is easy. This is what I'm getting at Baton Rouge.
And you're getting the ribs.
And lobster.
Yeah. Love it. Baton Rouge has been grilling the best ribs since 1992. I was taking a peek at their new lobster menu. They've got a whole lobster menu. It's lobster season right now. I was eyeing up the shareable seafood tower that looked like it has a little bit of everything on it. Go with a group of friends, maybe watch a PWHL playoff game and have the shareable seafood tower. Other thing that caught my attention, Tessa, lobster poutine. I had one of those in Halifax when I was there for the World Juniors back in the day.
Is that it?
So good. I've got to go to Baton Rouge for the lobster poutine. So shout out to Baton Rouge. Got to catch some PWHL postseason action there. Great partners here at Jocks and Jokes. All right, our headline segment presented as always by our friends at Pizza Pizza, the official pizza of the PWHL. Happy Mother's Day. We love all the moms out there here at Jocks and Jills. Tessa, the queen of the moms at Jocks and Jills. She knows everybody's mom and she will get all the tea because we know that moms have the most tea ever. It's Mother's Day. Treat your mom to not having to cook all week long. Mother's Day should be a week-long affair. We should celebrate them actually maybe for the entire month of May. Get a $50 e-gift card from Pizza Pizza and receive a $10 bonus card right until May 20th. Who doesn't like more pizza?
I'd have to agree to agree.
I do.
Yeah.
Right? We love pizza. We had some this week when we were filming our bonus episode, actually. It's delicious. Oh, somebody dropped us a line, actually, and said, thanks for the tip on the hot honey wings. Unreal.
I will never not order that. That was such a good
call on your part.
Constantly ordering that.
Yeah, such a good call.
And it won't just be an order of like 10 wings. It's going to be a 20 order, because even if there's a few left over, that next morning when you get up and you're just feeling a little snacky before you get to breakfast,
That's
what those wings are for.
Cold wings,
I know.
delicious.
I'm a cold wings, cold pizza person, 100%.
So am I. Don't heat it up. I like it cold. It marinates in the fridge. It's more delicious the next day. Pizza. our headline sponsor here on the Jocks and Jills podcast. So before we get into the 2 playoff series going on in the PWHL, couple quick little news bits happened around the leagues. Around the league, Howie Draper and New York mutually agreed on a coaching change. He's going to continue as a special advisor with PWHL New York. He's going to return to University of Alberta as their head coach. Not a huge surprise there after New York's finished this year. Howie Draper was always nice when I saw him around the rink. So wish him well on his way, and we'll see what's up next for PWHL New York behind the bench. Other bit of news, 2024-2025, the rivalry series. Instead of 3 stops, it's going to be 2. Instead of 7 games, just like PWHL playoff series, it's going to be 5. Dates are early November 6th, 8th, and 10th. And kind of what people have been hearing is maybe that'll be the last preseason event before the second PWHL season starts next year, but nothing confirmed there. We'll keep you in the loop in terms of when next season will start. All right, this is one of our most favorite headlines segments that we've ever done, because to talk about these 2 excellent playoff series, we have 2 of the most excellent voices in women's hockey to break it all down. 2 heavy hitters joining us now on the Jocks and Jills podcast. Okay, Toronto up 2-0 on Minnesota right now, and Minnesota shut out through 2 games. To talk about that series, we've got our girl from The Athletic, the PWHL's greatest insider. It's Hailey Salvian.
Oh, God.
How are you? Yeah, obviously.
Wow.
Oh my,
I'm blushing. That's so nice. Don't say that.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited you guys did this. I'm like staring at Tessa's background and feeling humbled. I'm like sitting in a random bed at my parents' house. It's not even my childhood room because they like moved. So I'm just,
Well,
this is a terrible backdrop, but I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for taking time away from your mom to come do this.
Oh yeah, she went to bed. She shut it down a while ago.
Nice.
This is a wine day, you know?
Yeah. Actually, since we're talking about moms, maybe should we start on Natalie Spooner and the way she opened up in game 1 of the series between Toronto and Minnesota and just like kept her dominance from the regular season going?
Yeah, I mean, who could have seen that coming, right? That Natalie Spooner was going to score a big goal for Toronto in the playoffs. I think the best part about it is it really just like signified and illustrated how special the season she's had is the fact that it was like such a gorgeous shot from distance, right? Like I think sometimes people can take Spooner as just this power forward, and I mean she is the most dominant power forward. She's got the best net front presence in women's hockey right now, but like if you give her space in the slot, if you let her go end to end, she can do it and she will do it. So I think it's always fun to see Spooner flex on people who might just like the blanket she's a good power forward thing. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's great to see her score goals like that. And like, who was surprised? Did you guys see the people through? Oh, you guys had them on the show. Like I'm actually kind of beefing with Tessa low key, because when I saw people throw the spoons, I was like, that'd be a great story. I have to find these spoon people. And
Tessa on her journalism.
Well, I can get you in touch. I can get you in touch. I can absolutely get you in touch.
You've been spooned.
Yeah, and we actually only picked up on that because of your tweet. So I actually like doubly ripped you off, and I'm so incredibly sorry. But it's actually okay. Jackie's one of my pals. She's one of my friends. I saw it while scrolling through Instagram, and I was like, that's insane. There's no way. Anyways, so if you do want to get in touch with her, Jackie's the coolest. So is Laura. I will absolutely get you guys in touch. Not a problemo.
Amazing. I love the spoons. So
yeah, honestly, PWHL fans are the most creative. I'm obsessed with it. It's all the fans have been really good in terms of their creativity. There were spoons,
and just like positive vibes too. I think that's the biggest thing. You go to like a women's hockey game and everyone's just like happy and vibing. Yeah.
You're so right. The energy at the games have been really, really good. Soup, a Toronto tradition. While we're talking about the fans, I love like when newer hockey fans are like, "Are they booing her?" It's like, no, it's a big Soup chant. She's been so good. 47 saves. She shut out Minnesota through 2 games. Like, what can we say about her through this series? other than she's
Yeah.
let in no goals, I guess.
Yeah, she's yet to surrender a goal, 2 games, 2 shutouts, 2 wins, another day for Kristen Campbell. So she's up to 18 wins on the season now for including regular season and postseason. And when you consider the fact that, she had that, like, slower start to the season, which I think was a mix of goaltending and the team kind of figuring its stuff out. Like, I think she hasn't had under a 939 save percentage in weeks. Like, she's
Yeah.
just been unbelievable for Toronto. And I think the biggest thing for Kristen, even when she isn't maybe being tested as much, I think there was one game she maybe had 21 shots against, 20 shots against, like lower, she certainly hasn't been as active as like an Erin Frankel. Actually, I don't think Kristen has faced as many shots both games as Frankel has faced in even one game she's played against Montreal. I know you guys are talking about that series or have already done that with Kenzie. But I think it's the way that Kristen is handling, the way that the games are coming at her. I think in game 1, Minnesota outshot Toronto, and there were definitely parts in that game where it seemed like Minnesota had a lot of pressure, but it never really felt hectic. And I think that's the biggest thing about Kristen Campbell's game right now is it's just calm in her crease. And, I asked Blair Turnbull, what's it like playing in front of a goalie who just seems like nothing is shaking her right now? And, I think Tessa can probably speak to it, especially as a defender. Like when you've got someone behind you who's just going to keep control of the game, it gives you confidence, right? If you make a mistake or if something bad happens on the breakout, or if you make a misread or you lose a puck battle, like you've got a rock behind you. And it, I think a lot of hockey can be mental sometimes, right? So like you just feel more free when you know that someone's locked in the way that Campbell's been. And I think we're seeing that confidence up and down the lineup. And a lot of that stems from Kristen. Again, she hasn't been scored on yet. So it's crazy. It's been pretty good.
Makes for less thinking and more doing. There's less thought behind doing stuff.
Mhm.
You're just playing because you're comfortable and confident in the tendy that's back there. Look, in that first game, I had said it in my post game online review that I didn't think 4-0 was a storyline by any means. I think Hensley's going to want a lot of those goals back, but I don't think she played her best hockey. Something just felt off. And nonetheless, game 2, no surprises. Maddie Rooney's out there, and kid played a game, and I actually felt really bad that her team didn't come away with a win for her in that one. Who are you putting in net for game 3 elimination at home?
I'm going back to Maddie Rooney. I think we've seen Ken Klee go for the hot hand with this tandem all season. We've seen him start Maddie Rooney back to back or have, 2 of 3 to Maddie Rooney over Nicole Hensley, depending on who's playing and how they're playing. And I just think, Maddie Rooney had 28 saves on 29 shots. Nicole Hensley, 16 on 20. Like it's, you just kind of have to go with who has had it more recently. And I think, it's actually been interesting. I've been like struggling with this because I think we've seen, I think both goalies struggled coming out of the break. Can you guys hear my dog panting right now?
No.
I don't know what's happening. He's just like sitting beside me, like breathing really heavy. It's fine. I think it's been, Maddie Rooney and Nicole Hensley both struggled coming out of the break. Neither of them looked super sharp after World Championships. So I was kind of wondering, like, how are some of these goalies going to adjust to either being the starter and having played even more than everyone else, or being the backup and sitting, or being the goalie who's sitting in Minnesota or Boston, not on a national team. So I wonder if we've seen a bit of that from, 2 US goalies who either didn't play much or didn't play at all over the break. But I think, long story short, I'd go for Maddie Rooney because both of them have showed their game has slipped a bit after the break, but Maddie Rooney's had the more recent success. And I say success like they didn't win, but she was better.
Yeah, and I think too, it's got to be so hard to coach in these playoffs because it's not like a game 7. If it's not like there's 7 games. If this was a 7-game series, I don't think any team would be like stressed about making any type of line decisions, be goaltending decisions. Like you know, I think it would just be like, we've got time to work this out. No team has any time to work anything out right now. It is like, just get the job. Who's getting the job done? Go. You know what I mean? And I feel like that adds a pretty cool level of stress and a pretty sweet storyline to the postseason.
Totally. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I think like both of their numbers were fine, but I think like the last regular season game for Nicole Hensley was an .844 save percentage, 5 goals against New York, and then that last game against Toronto. So I'd go for Maddie Rooney. You're trying to stave off elimination, so go for the hot hand.
Yeah. So the question I want to put to you two is like, what does Minnesota have to do here to generate something against Kristen Campbell? Like, Toronto's had their big dogs stepping up. It's been kind of their core that scored. I guess Jessie Comfort isn't one of their main players, but I would classify her as part of their. I would classify her as part of their core. Minnesota just needs the same thing. They're top dogs to step up here. I guess that's a simple answer, but generally, it's what you require.
Yeah, I think like with Jessie Comfort too, I think she's somebody who, like, when you think of the NHL or when you're looking at two teams with like a bunch of stars, like sometimes the stars cancel each other out, and having that 3C like Jessie Comfort who could score the game winner with 1:25 left is going to be the difference. So I would include her in the core. I think, you know, that extended top 9 in Toronto is why that team is so successful. And they all score in different ways. You have like 3 centers who just like play the game different. You've got like Turnbull, who's just, you know, plays so heavy and hard. Sarah Nurse, who's like very dynamic. And then you've got Jessie Comfort, who's kind of a fun blend of the two, I'd say. So yeah, she's definitely in the core. I think in terms of the Minnesota conversation, I think it's as simple as, like their star players need to step up. Taylor Heisey has 4 goals on the year. 3 of those goals were scored in the first month of the season. She came out lights out. She was unbelievable, but I think she has 1 goal since like March 13th. Minnesota has 1 win since March 24th. So like, they need the Heisey, Kendall, Coyne, Grace Sumwinkle. Like they got to get a goal here. They've got to make it harder for Kristen Campbell, because again, like she's just seeing everything. Like she's tracking pucks. Like you got to get a Grace Sumwinkle to either get a tip, set a screen. Like they need just like a dirty goal.
Yeah,
to break the gates open a little bit. I think.
Yeah,
it feels like when they get 1, they'll start to fall almost.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's not Kristen Campbell reacts, but yeah, I think they. What do you think, Tessa?
Yeah, I think you said it. They got to get a gritty goal, and it doesn't need to be nice. It can go off a button, and I don't care. But like you said, the job's been a little bit, I don't want to say easy for Kristen Campbell, because like you said, in that first game, even in the second game, I felt like they were getting their chances. But make her try and find the puck. I feel like Minnesota's such a pretty team. Do you know what I mean? Don't be pretty. You know, get in her face, make her stand back in her crease.
Minnesota had more than 3 shots in game 2. I feel like that. Yeah, you just got to put something on net. Put stuff on net.
But it's not that. It's not even quantity with them. It's the quality of. So, put someone at like heels touching the top of the crease, push her back in her net, drive by and nudge her. Honestly, like, I'm not telling people to do this. I'm just saying this is how I played. If a goalie was too hot or too comfortable, make them start thinking about something else. Whistle blows, give them a little tap on the back of the heels. You know, just you got to get in a goalie's head a little bit and have them start thinking. And so, like, for Minnesota, they're fast, they're talented. Like Taylor Heisey, Grace Sumwinkle, Coyne, like they can all get stuff going. But it's like you got to get that gritty goal. And with that, they've done a fantastic job preparing for Toronto's penalty kill. You got to get your power play going. Because last game, if they would have put one of those power play opportunities away, you would have been talking about a completely different game. You got to find the back of the net on the power play. I'm sorry. You have to get it. You have to. If you're having this much trouble 5-on-5, you got to take advantage of the power play. You have to. I was getting fired up.
They've had one of the worst power plays in the league all year, though, too, right? I know, holy. But their power play struggled all year. I was looking at, when I was doing the season preview and looking at why Toronto even would have picked Minnesota, and I think the 5-game losing streak is a big thing, and the goaltending and et cetera, et cetera. I think, like, I was trying to look for the silver lining out of the 5-game losing streak. It's like, well, maybe the PK and the power play have just been bad lately, but they've been kind of bad all year. Heading into the playoffs, their power play was 8.2%. Only Boston's was worse at a 7.5%, and the PK was a league worse. So it's actually kind of surprising that Toronto hasn't been great on the power play. It's actually, did you guys know only Kristen O'Neill has scored in the power play in the postseason of every team, all 4 teams? Only KO has a power play goal. So everyone's power play except for her is not doing great at the moment.
I felt like, I feel like it took a while for power plays in the league to start cooking. Like Montreal's power play didn't even really get cooking until after Worlds. And even then, I mean, this past game that they played, I didn't really like it. I was texting Julia angry texts about the power play, but regardless, I felt like
it's kind of be a little bit stagnant again.
I feel like
I don't think teams are practicing special teams that much. I'm not going to lie. There's been a few coaches I've talked to who are like, we don't even really work on it. I was like, that is, well, I mean, I can tell.
That is wild to me.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wild to me because what a tool to have in your belt in a close game like that.
Like that 5-minute power play that Montreal had in overtime. Once they didn't score there, and I know that it took a long time for the goal to actually get scored after that penalty, but I was like, I don't know, man. You don't get one there. It's pretty tough not to have the momentum go the other way.
Yeah. Only 2 shots on goal on that too. Like that's a momentum killer.
Yeah,
you can only get 2 shots on that.
Yeah. Do you have a prediction for us ahead of tomorrow night before we let you go here?
Oh God, why would you do this to me? I feel like I was doing so well. This is where I panic and freak out. Is this going to be on video? I think
forever.
I think Minnesota will have a better start. I think the fact that they're going to be at home, I think if they get like a big crowd at XL, like I think that will help. I think having like a day off and getting the practice and not having the whole travel situation will help. But I came into this series thinking it would be a pretty quick one, like Toronto, should be able to take care of business here. And I think Toronto and Troy Ryan's going to have the team prepared for all those things we just said. So unfortunately, I feel like Toronto's going to complete the sweep. Sorry.
All right.
Oh boy.
Toronto complete the sweep. You heard it here first. Hailey, we love you. Thank you so much. Everyone listening, if you love women's hockey and you don't follow Hailey Salvian, make sure you do it. She's dialed into everything going on in the PWHL and women's hockey. And thank you for joining us tonight, girl.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Boston currently up 2-0 on Montreal, going back home to Boston. A couple of overtime results, one definitely more egregious than the other. And we are so excited to have back here on the Jocks and Jills podcast, Kenzie Lalonde, the voice of women's hockey. Kenzie, man, how are you feeling? Like, have you slept? Are you doing okay? Have you drank some water? Like, how do you recover after a game like that?
I haven't recovered. I'm already in Boston. So we wrapped up, I think, filming at just shy of 12:30 in the morning. We did our final hit like we usually do. Got home.
That was the craziest part. Can I just say that? Like, what was the energy like to pull back the curtain for everyone? After a game finishes, you do a post-game hit taped after the building is entirely empty. I saw that hit get posted on tsn.ca. Saw that the building was entirely empty. I was like, what was the energy like when you were taping that post-game hit?
It was quiet. The building was quiet. And I remember Cheryl and I were just like, okay, yeah, so let's go back. What was that first goal again? Like, we're kind of revisiting all of it. And then we're kind of like, you know what? Let's go with this. We're just going to feel this. And it was like 3, 2, 1, let's just do this. There wasn't a whole lot of, minds were fuzzy. I was so grateful our stats guy going into that third overtime. I think I ate at like 9 a.m. and that was it. And I was mentally fading. And he leans over. He's like, got a couple of granola bars for you. He hands one to Pounder, hands one to me. So Gary, the G, he gave us some granola bars to push us through into triple overtime. And, I'm just so glad that was a good goal. I was nervous that in a way it was going to be a crappy bounce or just so many of the things that went on in that game. So for Wenskowski to get a solid, good chance in front, buried the rebound, made it a good finish. But that final hit, I couldn't tell you what we talked about. It was a blur. So anyways, quick 3 hours sleep, got on a plane this morning, came to Boston, thought it'd be fun to go to Fenway Park. I've never been. So obviously I made that plan about 2 weeks ago prior to knowing we were going to go into triple overtime. So maybe if things were different, I would have maybe postponed that ball game to tomorrow night. But here we are in Fenway Park. It was great. So I'm looking forward to sleep tonight, guys. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to be like a little Cinderella in my bed.
Love it. I love that for you. Let's just talk about, I mean, I was thankful that it was a good chance too. I kept worrying as overtimes were going on. I'm like, don't let this be some really crappy bounce. Like, make it something that someone earned. And like from the first game to the second game, I felt like there were two different games. However, they still had some of the same storylines, and the fact that, the goalies were the story, obviously. But I feel like the two different teams have two different approaches in the way they're attacking this one. I feel like Boston prepared more properly for Montreal. And I feel like Montreal prepared in a sense that they're like, no, we're going to play our game and make you play it, kind of thing. Do you agree or disagree with that notion?
Yeah, I think what's been working for Boston is they've stayed the course in the sense of their top players have got a little more rhythm under their belt in their goal scoring touch and the rhythm they're a little used to getting. But Courtney Kessel, she's used to rolling her lines. And I think what was concerning for them as that game continued was seeing Keller get a little shaken up. And we'll see how the injury, the issue she had, goes on here as the series continues, because she is such a big piece to their back end. But without a doubt, Fratkin stepped up, Emily Brown, Sydney Morin, she could rely on her depth. And I think that's maybe something she's been used to all year long. So it really paid off in that moment. And for Montreal, I think, as that game continued, little more curiosity on, okay, you're seeing Pooh and Murphy's line back in, back out. And at what point can they keep this up? And, you look at who got that game winner. It was Wenskowski, and she's fourth line player. And it was Boston's depth that has gotten them here. And now that's catching up to their top player scoring as well. And I think they're playing collectively and it's paying off. And for Montreal, now they're going to have to make sure their top players can find the back of the net, just because those opportunities are coming more common for them and more more often because of their time on ice.
And like,
can I read some numbers?
Yeah,
in terms of ice time.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hillary Knight played the most on Boston. She had 49 minutes and 23 seconds of ice time. Nobody on Boston played more than 50 minutes. Erin Ambrose, shout out to 61. You. I want to know how she is doing today. She played 61 minutes and 33 seconds. Montreal had 4 skaters that played over 50 minutes. Like I just said, Boston had none. So to your point, Ken's, it really was. And if you think about who's scored for Boston so far through the first 2 games of the series, it's been Pelkey, Wenskowski, Agia, Tapani. So even though their top players have been playing well, to your point, it has been the depth for Boston that's been the difference. And Montreal has leaned on their top players, obviously, for good reason. They've got some of the best players in the world, but it's funny how it happens in the playoffs sometimes when it's just the depth that seems to be what comes through.
Look, I will say one thing. Poulin played 50 minutes. Knight played 49. And the conditioning on Boston's side, I'll just compare Knight to Poulin. Knighter at the end of the triple overtime or double overtime, she looked to have more legs than Pooh. And that's not saying Pooh's out of shape. That's just saying that team has been riding Pooh all season. Team Canada rode Pooh all world championship, even though they said they were going to manage her ice time. So now it's come to this, and they're still trying to ride her. And it's like, she's running on fumes, fumes. That's tough.
And I think what was challenging too.
Yeah, that's working in Boston's favor. Huge.
And when they had that 5-minute power play, to me, it was like, this is it. This has to be the moment for you guys. And to then get another power play later in the game, it's like, damn, man, you got to think the frustration was building for them in that room. And Laura Stacey just can't. So many chances. I mean, her frustration levels must just be through the roof. Like, there's got to be a good line between her and Aaron Frankel now. Frankel must just be having a good time. stopping every single chance she has gotten. And I think finding more looks for Pooh and keeping things consistent for her and finding good line mates will continue to be a push here. And that top line of her O'Neill's minutes just continue to climb, but they got to find a way to capitalize if they're going to be the ones playing these bulk of the minutes.
Yeah, Frankel's living
So my
rent free
question
in
I want to put to
Stacey's
you guys.
head. Oh,
Go ahead.
But
no, we got to talk about Frankel. 109 saves through 2 games.
Yeah.
Like, she's on another level. We got to sit here and just like throw flowers at her and give her loves because we knew it was going to be a little bit of a goalie duel in that series. And Renee's been awesome too. She's made 74 saves through those 2 games. But oh my gosh, Frankel, like she's just on.
She's the green monster. As someone who just came from Fenway Park and they're explaining what it was to me, I'm like, well, that's Erin Frankel. No one can get by her. She's an absolute brick wall. She's just having herself. She's been a big difference maker for them because you think of the shots on net, even going into triple overtime in game 2, Montreal still put up more than that by the end of that first overtime. Frankel had 18 shots in the third period back in game 1, 18 in one period alone. She has been busy. And so hats off to her and for the team and the acquisitions of Agia and Tapney to pay off. Like for Boston, it's all aligning now. And what better way for it to pay off than when it's crunch time and you're 1 game away from playing in the final now.
You ready for this? I'm not saying she hasn't been playing well because she has. But Desbiens has yet to record a win against Boston. What are you doing in this elimination game?
And that was my big question coming into this. Would we see Julie?
Listen, here's my theory. They missed the boat on putting Julie in. Julie should have been in game 2. 100%.
Yeah.
Because now it's game 3 and it's an elimination game. You're going to throw the kid in for an elimination game? You're kind of stuck. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But something needed to be and listen, putting Julie in wasn't telling Desbiens you're not our number 1 or we think you're playing bad. That ain't it. Right? It's just like...
Yeah, it's giving different looks. It's giving different options. And let's see what works. They're throwing things at the wall and what's going to stick. Okay, we're in. This is playoffs, baby. We need to find answers. And that's a way to find a new answer.
And we've all played. You play different in front of certain goalies sometimes. So maybe the team plays different, more... sound defensively or something when Julie's in net for whatever reason. They just rely on Deb. I remember when Kim St. Pierre used to be in net, I used to never worry about anything. And it was like, that's kind of mean. I should be just as
have fun back there.
Do you know what I mean? I should be just as responsible with her in net than with anybody else. But for whatever reason, you just have these blinders on when your stud is in net. I don't know. I just think for Montreal, it's tough to watch because you just saw it in their faces at the end of the game. And I, by the way, did talk to Ambrose. I talked to her after game 1. I was like, how's the body feeling? Like it's a physical game. And she was like, I felt like I drank a bottle of tequila. Like I hurt. And I'm like, damn, tonight after that game.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine
after the 3 overtime game. I'm like, how do you feel? Like you drank a bottle of Everclear? She's like, I have never felt this exhausted and I'm terrified of how I'm going to wake up feeling tomorrow. And I was like, thank God there's a couple days off. Imagine if they were playing Monday. Oh my God.
Yeah. Like they traveled today.
Mm-hmm.
Abby Cook and Leah Lum, like their birthdays happened on the bench. They had their birthdays at midnight.
28, baby.
Yeah, and what Leah Lum have a minute
how long that game went. Who was?
No, she had 4.
Abby Cook didn't play.
She has spoken so highly. I had a good chat with her about Elaine Chuli because she played with her back in college in the PHF and just like in a way chuckled just at how clutch she is and how reliable Leah has seen her through her evolution of her career. And so that's such great confidence to know that, you know, those that know you know that you could do the job. And you got to give it for Chuli, who kind of knew going into the season, you are the backup in that way. And every single chance they put her in, she's risen to the occasion. And so I do think game 2 in a way would have been a great opportunity to put her in. And then you have your decision for game 3, who stepped up in that way. So I understand that. I had another point, but I forgot what it was. So here we are.
That's the
My
vibe.
brain's like shutting down.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the Agia ejection in overtime for that?
No.
I think that's going to be a call in the NHL any day. Like in the middle of the ice like that, I do understand the logic behind that. It's challenging to see. And again, right, we're in the luxury of slowing it right on down, baby. And it does look as though there was shoulder contact first and then maybe the mask second, if you're looking at where the initial impact was. But when you look at that at full speed, in the NHL, I truly believe it. That would be the exact same call.
Look, I'm cool with the call. Call a penalty if you want. It was a fight for space. There was a 50-50 puck. And I don't think the head was targeted. It was a battle to get to the space first. So there was no intent. So do not eject a player.
Yeah, that's the thing. They called it an intent to injure. Intent to injure was the call. And
no chance.
To me, there wasn't really an intent.
No chance. I was so mad.
Certainly a penalty is what I'll say. Without a doubt, certainly a penalty.
Interference probably is what I'd throw at that.
Look, if they think there was head contact and she targeted or hit the head first, cool. That's fine. Give her a penalty. But it was not intent to injure. I don't think Lexi has that in her to do that, quite frankly. But regardless, it was the play that it was a battle for space. It was a race for space, and they're two bigger girls that were using their body to get that space. And unfortunately, contact happened for Laura Stacey. You never want to see it for anybody. I don't care who it is. Stacey's a friend of the show. We love her. But I would have never, in a game like that, no way, no how would I have ejected Lexi Agia for that. Sit in the box, sure. But to kick someone out in a big game like that, a big playoff game, no. And to call it intent to injure just double sucks. But what are your predictions? I want to know for Game 3, Kenzie. What are you thinking? What are you seeing? Is Montreal gonna?
That's so hard.
Get the job done or what?
I'm interested to see what's still in the tank here. Yeah. I'm interested to see what this first period's going to look like. I think it's going to be really telling. I do think this series deserves to go the stretch and go to Game 5, and they're going to fight tooth and nail. So I think it's going to be another close one, maybe even overtime. And I think it might go in Montreal's favor. I hate to say it.
We need Kenzie getting paid by the period.
That's what I walked away and I'm like, how does this work here?
Seriously, come on.
But I got to say, the crowd was incredible. To still salute Montreal at the end there really was something special. Like, the baby sleeping in the crowd. I had a friend message me. There was a minor hockey tournament going on called the Montreal Meltdown, a girls tournament. And a lot of teams were there that night, but some played the next day. And so one of my friends messaged me and she's like, we had to go home. The girls had the gold medal game at 9 a.m. We had to go. So I felt for them, and I'm sure they woke up and watched the highlights. But it was a super late night. Even I was yawning this morning going through customs, and the customs agent, you know, when you go through Nexus and it takes your scan of your face, I guess I was yawning during that process. So when I got up to the agent this morning at like 6 a.m, he's like, Mackenzie? I said, yep. And he goes, girl, you're yawning in your photo. I'm like, that's so embarrassing. What? And he's like,
I'm doing my best.
Hold on. He's like, Tommy, like the guy next to him in the screen right next door. He's like, Tommy, you gotta look at this. The man's in the middle of helping another person, asking him where he's going, asking for a passport, and bringing him through the customs line, and turns back at us. And he's like, you gotta look up Mackenzie. Googles my name, or not Googles it, looks it in their system, pulls up. It's like me, like mouth open, so embarrassing. And he's like, girl, you got to go to sleep. And they both just like howled laughing. And I'm really nervous about what they're going to do with that photo now moving forward.
Do you have a picture of the picture?
Anyways, that was my morning. No, I wish I did. I should have done that. It was so embarrassing. I think I just like walked away in shame, just being like, this is so bad. And also a reminder that it actually takes a photo of you, and that's how they identify you as you go through customs, is that photo that's been taken of you.
Those are the most.
So I'm sure that's printed somewhere in their work office right now.
100%.
Yeah, the girl that yawned.
Yeah, you're a star in many ways.
Yeah,
Montreal.
Well, go get your rest.
Boston is worth every terrible photo of me.
Yeah, get your rest. Let us tuck you in. Have a good snooze.
Yeah. Okay. Get some sleep. Thanks, Kenzie. You're the best.
We'll chat game 5.
We'll chat then.
Oh man, all this talk, Julia, about triple OT. Like, 1, my back and my knees hurt, but 2, this has got me parched. We gotta take a quick break.
Yeah, dude. In all serious though, thinking about that triple overtime game last night, the fact that Erin Ambrose played over a full game by herself, how much Gatorade do you think that Montreal and Boston drank in that game?
Look, it's scientifically formulated, actually, so you never stop competing. Oddly enough, that's exactly what happened between these two teams. It seemed like they never stopped competing. I'm gonna guess at least a gallon of Gatorade each.
Yeah, thankfully, it's got electrolytes and other nutrients in it that replenish their lost sweat, carbs that fueled their muscles, and fluids to keep them hydrated because Lord knows they were needing it last night during that game.
Julia, quite literally, Gatorade was fueling every single shift of the PWHL semifinal between Boston and Montreal.
And listen, us too. I've been like buzzing around covering a whole bunch of hockey games recently between the PWHL. NHL playoffs are going on. I've been in studio covering CHL playoffs as well. They've been fueling me every single day too. So shout out to Gatorade, fueling every shift of the PWHL and fueling us here at Jocks and Jills too. Tessa, our player interview this week presented by Nobis is one, of course, I know I say this every week. I know it's getting old, but it's Sarah Nurse. Like, of course, people have been asking for this one. She's one of the most beloved players in the PWHL on, off the ice. People love this woman. We love her too. We don't blame the people. This is a good one and a heavy hitter, and we've been waiting patiently to have her on.
And she was a blast, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone enjoy this one. Presented by Nobis. It's Sarah Nurse. All right, we are so excited about this one here on the Jocks and Jills podcast. She is one of the faces of women's hockey, one of the faces of hockey in general. She's won at Worlds. She's an Olympic champion. She broke records at the Olympics. If you know hockey, you know this person, and we are so excited to have her on Jocks and Jills today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only, the incomparable, it's Sarah Nurse.
Thank you. Finally, I made it.
I know. Now I'm not just reaching out to you for dirt on people.
It's like, I wish we could just put everybody through the gauntlet and have
everybody on. Have a car wash.
A car wash. Nice. Good media term. Okay,
well,
let's go all the way back, Sarah, to start this, because like there's so much that we're going to talk about with your career, but I want to talk about the very start of it. Being you, growing up, having this like really athletic family. Like what were family dinners like as a kid?
Yeah, you know what? They just our parents played a lot of sports. So my dad, my aunts and uncles, they always played sports. You know, they're an immigrant family, so any sense of community that they could get, they just dove right into. And so when myself and my brothers and my cousins came along, it was like that natural progression. And my cousin Darnell and I were the first ones to play hockey, actually. And so we're the exact same age, and we just kind of hit the ground running. We never actually played with each other. We played against each other a little bit, but as soon as I stepped on ice, I just fell in love with it. And I played a bunch of other sports, but hockey was the one I settled on. And all of my family thought I was absolutely crazy to decide on hockey, but it's worked out.
So did you guys have like epic mini stick like who was better growing up from the get-go? Be honest. Like, were there epic mini stick battles between you two?
I would definitely think Darnell. Darnell's been like elite since birth. Yeah, he was always very, very good at hockey. I will give a shout out. My little brother Elijah, he doesn't play hockey anymore, but at 7 years old, my grandma will tell you that he was the best hockey player in the family, comparably.
Damn.
So huge shout out to him. He's he's playing men's league still, but she says that he was the best player.
No shame in men's league.
That's awesome.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He plays more hockey than I do at this point.
I love those men's league heroes that are in a league like every single night.
Yes, that's him. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's great. Okay, I just learned this about you when I was talking to Tessa before this podcast. I just see you as this like prolific athlete, Sarah. Well-rounded, does it all, could throw a ball, swing a club. Apparently not the case. You're more of a one sport kind of gal.
You know what? I think that I'm actually decently athletic, but like, man, I can't play golf. I really can't play
Oh,
golf. No, I cannot. And I don't really
the
want to
outfits
either. I'm just
though,
there for
and
the
the little
vibes.
drinkies in the cart, the golf vibes are very good.
Yes. So like if you want to have a good time, bring me. But I'm not gonna swing club.
And
Not gonna swing club.
what about your arm? How's your throw? Some people sent me a couple of videos of you practicing your technique, if you will.
Okay, listen, I have a couple of haters. I don't know if you're referring to Aaron Ambrose. But I did throw out a pitch at the Jays game, and I think I
Yeah.
crushed it. I did have to practice, and I had a good coach in Aaron Ambrose, but I do think that I crushed that pitch.
Right. Did you I didn't see it, but did you
Tessa doesn't even
incorporate
agree.
the
She's like,
Doesn't
okay.
agree.
did you incorporate the leg swing, like bringing up the leg to throw it when you threw the first pitch? Because that's
Ooh,
stressful
no.
out there. I'm not gonna lie. And they tell you, they're like, don't step on the bump. Like, do not step on the mound. And you're like, well, that's where I've been
Exactly.
practicing from. Did you?
100%. It was
You
super
did.
stressful. I don't think I actually did the leg kick. I did do it in practice. It doesn't look good, but
No.
it wasn't efficient at all. So I think that I pulled it off for TV,
That's fair.
Nice.
That's fair. Look, you, like Julia said, whatever, one sport athlete, maybe a couple sport athlete, we'll give it to you. Your dad was like, Julia, I actually learned this from you. Your dad, was it your dad that, oh no, that wasn't. Roger is a legend.
Lacrosse
Let's
coach?
just start with that.
Yes.
No, lacrosse
Yeah.
referee is what
Lacrosse
I've heard.
coach, referee, he played. Oh yeah. Guys, lacrosse to the bone.
I love
Yeah,
it.
that's a tough sport
And you
too.
just,
Like, did you ever play that? That is
I
like
played
a
I-
violent sport.
It's absolutely violent. Like I couldn't deal with it. It's violent and it's hot, especially if you play in the
Yes.
summer box lacrosse. So
Yeah.
lacrosse was my first sport, actually. I think one of my first sports. I hated it so much. My
What?
dad loved it. Yeah, I absolutely hated it. So my dad tried to bring me back to it a couple of years later, and I was pretty good. But it's so hot, all the equipment, sweaty, people trying to absolutely kill you, and that is not.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's not me.
I
I just
know.
try to go through life not being touched, and that's not lacrosse.
Breaking Roger's heart.
Yeah,
Poor
poor
guy.
guy. Poor guy.
He seems to be doing all right though. When I see him in the stands and post game at the Hockey Canada bar, he's a happy man.
Yeah, he really is. He was a little unhappy with me at Worlds though because I didn't score the game that he was there, and he said that's his chance for TV time. So he wasn't too
Right.
thrilled with me at that point, but
That is hilarious.
We like to get to know athletes like regimen, like what got them there. And I think this is incredibly hilarious because I rarely talk about like I guess my eating habits growing up. I legit, and I'm so happy to hear this because you're an Olympic champ and you set Olympic records, and you not only, I'm sure, grew up on this, but you still thrive on strictly eating chicken fingers, French fries, and potatoes. You're like a hard nay on the veg,
Ripley,
apparently.
yes. All my teammates make fun of me. Brianne Jenner's definitely like the top one, but she always looks at me and says, Nursey, another plate of beige. Looks good today. So I've been trying to incorporate more color, but man, like something about a good carb, like I can't turn down. Like I will have rice and pasta and bread at
Oh,
pregame
yeah.
meal. Yeah. So
And like, to be
no,
honest, the most consistent meal is chicken fingers and fries. You go to a restaurant, you're like, I don't know what to order. Just go to the kids menu, get the chicken fingers and fries. They're always banging.
it's like it's pretty
For
idiot
sure.
proof. Like for you to mess up chicken fingers and fries, like that is tough. So I would say that I'm a bit of a connoisseur, but I'm okay with it.
I love it. I also want
Yeah.
to see Romeo. Please, I want to see him make
Yeah.
a
Oh
debut.
God.
Is there
Let
an
me grab
appearance
him.
that
Let me
can be
grab him.
made?
He's right here.
He's
Yeah.
actually he's like such a he looks like a famous
Celeb.
dog, and he is
I
obviously.
think he has more followers than me.
There
Yeah.
he is. Hi, Romeo. What a king.
Say
I love
hi,
that guy.
mister. I just
What
gave him a
is-
treat. He's buzzing.
He's so famous.
Aw.
I feel like did CCM post him for his birthday? Because that is true
Oh,
famous
yeah.
dog status.
Oh yeah. He got a post from CCM. Oh, he's come to every CCM shoot. Like they know him. Yeah, Romeo's king.
Oh my god.
That is so
I
good.
love it.
Does Romeo know Drake? Like that's one person I want to ask about. I remember back in the day, like I was in university when this happened, when Drake tweeted something like, "Man, in Canada, even our hockey players are sweeter things." Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
Okay.
like an Instagram story. And I
Yes.
remember we were in Korea, so we're on the other side of the world. And I woke up to like my phone absolutely blowing up. And like it's the Olympics, so people are reaching out, whatever. And I remember I just looked at I looked at a text from my friends and was like, Drake put you on his Instagram story. And I was like, who's Drake? Like, I don't know a Drake. Who's Drake? And so
No.
I went to Instagram. Yeah, I was like, I don't know a Drake.
What?
Like, who
You're
is
literally
Drake?
photographed.
And then
That's so
I
funny,
was
dude.
like, I was like, oh, like Drake.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But it was cool to be able to talk to him about sports. Like he's a huge hockey fan. He told me that he grew up playing hockey. He was a right winger. And so I was like, I didn't know you knew hockey like that. Obviously, you see him at the Raptors games and different things like that. But no, huge hockey fan, huge hockey guy. So yeah.
So hold on. So he posted about you. Your friends told you Drake.
Yeah.
You figured out it was the world famous Drake. And
Yeah,
then
the
what? You
Drake.
reached out and was like, "Hey, thanks," or he followed you and DM'd. Like, what's the
Yeah.
story? Like, I don't know. You didn't.
Yeah.
You just had a talking on the phone. Like,
He had posted me on his Instagram story and then I guess followed me. And so I guess I must have messaged him back being like, hey, thanks for shout out, or like, good to know you're watching kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, then we just like started chatting from there. And obviously he was watching the Olympics. And I guess that just really showed the true visibility of the sport and where we had gotten to, that like a global
right,
superstar was watching a Team Canada, Team USA women's hockey game. So I think that was
right.
pretty cool. That's what that really told me.
And like, there was no friendship bracelet shared or anything.
Yeah, we hadn't got to Taylor Swift eras yet, so I didn't get my friendship bracelet, but we'll have to see if we can get him to a PWHL Toronto game.
Is
Being
that
serious? Like, you guys make the finals. You gotta send the invite out, Nursey. Get him in there.
I know, Tess, but you know that Drake curse? I don't know
I
if we want to
know. I
bring
was
it to
just gonna say,
Toronto.
like he texted you the year you guys lost.
Yeah, we did lose that year.
I was gonna say, like, that's extreme Drake curse. I don't know if you want to
Yeah.
and he's got that whole
So,
Kendrick Lamar beef going on right now. Like, there's a
100%.
lot going
So
on right now.
we love Drake, but I don't know if we want to chance it this year.
Yeah. You know what?
Get it.
That's fair. That is totally fair, because we have a thing at TSN where it was like, keep Hayes away from the Leafs games because they always lose when he's there. This is gonna
Oh,
be
Yeah.
shoot.
stay away Drake kind of thing. Love ya, but stay away.
Love
Please
you,
just
love you. But we'll catch
give
you.
it
We'll catch you
yours.
postseason.
Yeah.
Is that
with
the most
with
famous person in
trophy.
your phone, Sarah?
Oh yeah, good question.
Ah, is it the most famous person on my phone? I mean, like probably from that global standpoint. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
would say so.
That's cool. But like, you're like you're famous. I would like to know what it's like to walk around downtown or anywhere really as you, because like, you were on the cover of NHL 23, which is a big deal. You and Zegras, you had a Wicked commercial. It was all over socials. We talked to Jamie Lee Rattray. She talked about her gaming system and her gaming life, which is wild. So like, be
Yes.
honest, how much did you play Chell? And do you still play?
So growing up, actually, my brothers and I played a lot. We would play all the
Okay.
time. And then as I got older, my interest changed a little bit, and so I kind of put the shell down for a little
Yeah.
bit. But once our game actually got back into the game, that's when like
Yeah.
I started dabbling back into it and being like with Aaron Ambrose and Ratty, and like as they're playing it too, because you have like that vested interest. It's cool to be able to play as women's hockey players. And so I think once we got back into the game, that sparked my interest again. And then the cover came following that, and it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it just speaks to like what an impact you've had on the game globally over the past couple of years. Your custom skates with CCM too. Can you talk a little bit about the design
Sick.
that went into that?
Those are so nice.
Yeah, so it was pretty awesome. We've started different design processes. So last season I got a couple different pairs for different causes. I made one for breast cancer awareness. I did another pair for Black History Month. Then I had my own custom all the time skates. And then this season, obviously being the first of the PWHL, I'm playing for Toronto. I really wanted to create like a cultural moment, because when I think of Toronto, I just think of culture. So many different people, I mean, so many different places. And so I wanted to showcase that. So obviously one Caribbean Caravana Carnival Festival. And so that was huge. I wanted that on there. The CNE, iconic. Obviously the Toronto skyline, TTC, because we got to get around somehow. And so just incorporating different elements of Toronto on the skates was really important to me.
And then your logo itself, who designed that? I was like, whoa, this works out perfect. Like that, it half blew my mind. I was like, I feel like I'm mildly creative. Julia's very creative, but it's like your initials just work perfect.
Yeah,
Who did
it was
that?
pretty special. We've been working with a company called Unbound for about 2 years now. Like it's been a labor of love. And so it was it was a process I was very involved in. And so we had to go back and forth with logos and colorings and fonts. And with my website just launching, they did a whole bunch of that. And so when it came to the logo, I wanted something that was like cool, but could also stand on its own. I didn't want something that like just had my name on it or had like
Right.
my number in it. Like I just wanted something that could stand on its own. And so when they came to me with that design, I was blown away because I'm looking at it and I was like, what am I looking at? Am I looking at an S? Am I
Yeah.
looking at an N? So for the longest time, I saw an N and I couldn't see the S, but
Yeah.
now all I can see is an S and I can't see an N. So I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, which has felt pretty nice.
It's like one of those pictures where it's like, do you see the dress is black or purple? Or like, do you see
Yes.
the crane or the elephant?
Yes, it's
the
exactly that. So I
serendipity.
ask everybody. I'm like, what do you see? Because I'm so curious.
What? Yeah, we should post that. What
Yeah.
does everyone see? Get the
Yeah, what do we
masses
see?
involved.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a huge difference around the city and for little girls growing up who didn't get to see black girls playing hockey a lot. Now they get to watch you rip it up in the PWHL for Team Canada and PWHL Toronto. You've got Nursey Nights with Black Girl Hockey Club. Has there been a moment this season that you talk a lot about your work, so you can talk to that, but has there been one specific moment this year where you've really felt like, oh, that was cool. I really got to make a difference there for that specific kid? Or does that just happen all the time for you?
Yeah, no, it's honestly amazing. Every time I get to meet young girls and boys, everybody's so excited because they know who I am. Like I'm a face that they can recognize and understand. So it's been cool, obviously, for the little girls, but also the little boys as well. I think I've spoken about this a little bit before, but I had a nursing night a couple weeks back against Boston, and I like was not happy with the game at all. I was like, I didn't play very well. And so I finished the game and I'm like, oh, man, I gotta go up and meet these kids. Like, I'm not feeling great right now. But I went up and everybody was so happy, so excited, so grateful. And it brought me back to a place of like, man, they actually don't care how I played. They think that I played great. They do not care how I played, but they're so grateful for this experience. The fact that they get to watch professional women's hockey. And that meant everything to me. And I think that really brought me back to a moment of like, hey, I'm making an impact on the ice, but also off of the ice. And it's really special because I never had these opportunities as a young kid to meet a professional hockey player. So to be able to leave an impact wherever I go is something that I take a lot of pride in.
No, you didn't get to meet one. You just grew up with one.
Exactly.
And you are essentially just as big, if not bigger than Darnell. That's no slight on Darnell either. But you got like Kia as a cousin as well. Like you got your family's wild. But I'm not sure if any of them have been on a stage and done what you did in terms of setting an Olympic record. So I want to talk about that Olympics. And like I feel like sometimes you're out there and everything is just falling into place. Like stuff just falls on your lap, or like you're just feeling, you got the juju going, you know, your juices are flowing, things are going right. So what specifically about that Olympics allowed you to break the point scored at an Olympics ever?
So going into that Olympics, I had no expectations. I had come off of, I'm sure we spoke about this before, I tore my MCL, and so I hadn't played since October. And I didn't even know if I was going to be able to play. I was just happy to be there and be helpful and supportive in any role possible. So I was like, if I can play, amazing. If I can make an impact on the ice, amazing. But if not, I'm going to be the best teammate. And so we get to the Olympics and I'm a little tentative, obviously coming off a knee injury. And I was just like, let me just go out, play, and do what I can. And as you said, like it was one of those weeks where the puck was just finding me. I was playing with great players. I played with a bunch of different people during the Olympics. Actually, I started off with Blair Turnbull, and Rebecca Johnston, and then I moved with Pooh and Jenner. And so I'm playing with these great players, and the puck is just, it feels like a magnet to me, and everything I touch somehow finds the back of the net. And I don't know if we could ever recreate, a 2-week stint like that, but it was pretty special. I think at the end of the tournament, I wasn't the only one to break a record. Pooh had a record, Jenny tied a record, Claire Thompson had a record, our team set a record. And so everybody was just so happy for the individual success that really led us to the team success. And it was pretty incredible to be a part of.
Did it feel like that kind of almost catapulted you into the level of fame that you've reached now? I know that it's always been part of your plan to really be part of the brand of women's hockey and really be at the forefront of the faces of that. But do you think that Olympics kind of catapulted that?
I think definitely. There's so many eyes on us during Olympic Games, and to have the Olympics that we had, we didn't realize it over in Beijing, but we were all anybody was talking about back home, and we really had no idea. And so getting back home after the Olympics, I remember we went to a Leaf game not too long after, and my dad and I took the train in, and I was getting mobbed in the train. So much so where I was like, Dad, I can't take the GO train. Like, we need to find another way home, because there were so many people that were coming from other cars. And I'm sitting in the train, and people are like saying my name, they're like whispering, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm psychic or something. Like, that's all I'm hearing. And so that's when I realized, I was like, okay, something different happened while we were away.
That's crazy.
So sick.
That's actually really cool. Is that what prompted you to sneak away on your trip in Cabo and get lip injections, just to try to like change your
Oh my God, do you guys have this photo?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so bad. Oh my gosh. Oh, all the celebrities go away, get their plastic surgery, and come back with nothing. This was so bad, you guys. One, had an allergic reaction. 2, definitely had sun poisoning. And I was distraught. I felt like I woke up with a hockey puck in my mouth, and my lip was probably the size, like, to my chin. It was crazy. And I called my team doc, Doc Tina Atkinson, who had worked with us all year at the Olympics. I called her in the middle of the night. I said, Doc, I'm in Mexico. My lip is like 8 times the size that it needs to be. Like, am I going to die here? And she was like, you're not going to die. Just wear a hat. And I was like, Doc, I don't do hats. I don't do hats. They don't look good on me. And she's like, you need a hat. You need a hat. Come home. You'll be fine. But yeah, that was tough. Tough bounce.
And it just went away?
It did.
Like,
once I got home, so it was
Benadryl?
too. So yes, I was absolutely putting back Benadryl. I had blistered too, and I ended up having a photo shoot. I texted my agent a photo of my face, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, you're going to have to tell them we may have to reschedule. My lip was crusty. It was so bad, so bad. So we got through it. We're better, stronger.
Did you do the shoot with the crusty lip?
Just when you were talking about...
I did. We made it work. We were exfoliating. Oh, it wasn't good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's Photoshop too, a little retouch.
For sure. For sure. Saves the day.
Yeah.
Just to turn it to hockey and the PWHL season and the playoffs coming up for a second. When you were talking about your Olympic run and just the way it felt like the puck was finding you there, is that what you're seeing for Spoons right now? Because it's just like insane. 2 goals again in the final game of the regular season, 20 goals on the season for her.
Yeah, I mean, Spooner is the best probably ever in the world at net front presence. And obviously she's so skilled. She scored some really nice goals on breakaways and things like that this year. But like, she owns that area of the ice. And I think I look at her 2 goals yesterday, and nobody else on our team are scoring those goals. Her reach, her quickness, her reaction time to be able to do that is such a skill. And I mean, just watching her all season, it does feel like the puck finds her, but she puts herself in good positions and good spaces to get the puck. And it takes a lot of skill to be able to score in this league. It's not easy, or else everybody would have 20 goals. So huge credit to Mama Spoons.
Yeah, she gives good mom hugs, we hear. But
yes, she
no
does.
one. I don't think I saw a goal like yours that you scored against Ottawa in that final game. That's like, I don't know if you remember the Sidney Crosby goal where like Spezza was all over him. He was going back and forth behind the net and then just ended up he passed to get a goal. You
Yes,
did
he
this
got an
yourself.
assist,
You're
yeah.
like, I'm gonna one up your Crosby. Move over. Here I am. That was like, I'm like, oh, as you were going, then you went, and then you just went short side bar down. I was like, Jesus, play that thing back on slow mo. Like, what was the play? Walk us through. Is that a set play where everyone's just standing watching you and you're like, I'm gonna do stuff?
The play is everyone watch
the
this.
face-off. We had a set play off the face-off. We didn't execute it. So the set play was to win it back to Britt for a quick shot. And I ended up winning it not quick enough. And so she made a really smart play to not force things and give it back to me. And Ottawa, they don't usually do this, but in this situation, they were playing man on man. And so every time I looked up, they were glued to my team. And so I'm doing cutbacks waiting for somebody to get open. Like Emma, F3, I was like, come on, girl, make some space. But everybody was just glued. And so once I beat my check to the bottom of the circle, I was like, I guess I'm taking this to the net. And then I saw, like on our crease out, we looked at the other team's goalies, and Emirates' hands were really low. And I was like, I just have to elevate it. And so I elevated it. I knew it went in the back of the net. And I was just happy because I hadn't scored at home this year. So it felt nice to get a goal at Mattamy.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got to ask Julia about the, you going to ask about the phone thing?
I asked you who the most famous person in your phone was, but we saw a video earlier this year where everybody was asking whose phone they'd want for 24 hours. And everybody said you. But is there a teammate? Can you think of one teammate who you would actually trust to man your phone for 24 hours? Doesn't have to be Toronto. It can be a college teammate, but somebody.
Yeah. I would have to go with Olivia Knowles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know
would
what?
let her?
I would let her because I trust her a lot. We see eye to eye in a lot of things. And she's smart, like she's quick, and she just like understands life. She's got a good life skill set, and so I think I would trust her.
Would you? Abby Rock says you're in her wedding party. Is that enough to convince you to let Abby do it?
No. Absolutely
Would she
not.
actually be on the list of people that you wouldn't let man your phone?
I would not let Abby man. I love her so much, but no.
Enter the chat, Abby Rock.
You're not manning my phone. Sorry, sweetie.
Oh, why?
I just
trust me.
I just love
If
you
you guys
so
are-
much.
If you guys are listening to this and not watching on YouTube, Abby Rock has just popped into the chat. Abby, how are you, girl? Thank you for coming.
Oh, I'm great. Great to be back.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. I knew you couldn't do this without me. I had to bring some fun.
You always do.
Abby, does this change? She said no, absolutely not. No to the 24 hours with her phone. Does she still remain on the wedding party list?
She's in the bridesmaids list. But all I gotta say is though, she would be so happy. She would probably leave with like a boyfriend if I had her phone.
Honestly, Abby, set me up.
That's such a shoot off.
Who would Abby's pick be? Who would matchmaker Abby pick?
Oh, I would be probably just searching your DMs to reply to some people.
Oh gosh, it'd take a while. Oh, Abby,
You leave everybody in the
really
cooler, right,
cute.
Nursey? Aw.
Oh,
So
my
everybody
God,
knows.
that's so good.
Everybody knows the famous Sarah Nurse from the Olympics, the famous Sarah Nurse from the PWHL. Abby, you know Sarah from your playing days back at Wisco. What was life like with Sarah back then?
Oh, you knew she was destined to be famous, honestly. We used to call her like Beyonce, basically. Like I feel like she always knew. Like,
Always knew.
What were the
Part of the group that was
signs she was
destined for a
showing of
solo career.
future stardom?
well, she was the queen. So like, you know what I mean?
We would
Like in
always,
the
I get it.
dressing room or
we would
everywhere?
do like myself and one of our other teammates, Michaela, like there were times where we would just like put on performances in the locker room to like High School Musical, and like it was insane, and everybody would be watching with their phone lights on. Like it was crazy.
Oh, I have videos. It's so good.
Sweet. Can't wait to post those.
Abby.
Oh, that is
What's
so
one of your
good.
favorite memories with Sarah, Abby?
Oh, well, that just reminds me of those performances. She was trying to teach me also how to walk the catwalk for. Do you remember this, Sarah?
Yes.
We had to do the freshmen every year had to do like the sports and business like fashion show, and I was forced to.
Mm.
And Sarah was trying to teach me how to walk the catwalk. But that's when you knew she could do it perfectly,
Yeah.
and I could barely walk.
We had to do
I like waddle.
practice. We had to do practice. We had to work on the hip swing a little bit. Yeah. She got it a little bit at
It
the
would-
end. There's still room for improvement, but
So good.
Has Nursey helped out
any
with your
question-
shy game at all, though? I feel like it's kind
Yeah.
of elevated.
Yeah, well, Sarah, I'd have jokingly called you my stylist. When we had our little vacation in Florida, we went shopping for the last year PWHPA awards. We also, I think we're terrible influence on each other with that, though, because we'll be like, should we buy this? And we're like, oh, yes.
yeah,
It is
that's actually a problem. Like she'll call me. She's in Prada. She's like, Sarah, I need your advice here. Do I buy this? And I'm like, I mean, yes, 100%.
I'm the
you're
worst
buying it.
person to call for that, too. Like, of course I'm going to
100%.
say yes. Like, you think I'm going to tell you to be
Yeah.
financially responsible? Like, that's not happening today.
No, yeah.
Mm-mm.
We had myself, Abby, and actually Savannah Harmon. We were in a group chat last year, and we would just send our game day outfits to each other. So we were at like Worlds at one point too, and it was just like, "Hey guys, what are you wearing today?"
I would be like, is this cute? And sometimes they would be like, literally, no, Abby,
Yeah.
change. I was like,
Abby, that's really ugly. You can't wear that.
And
Poor
what do you,
Abby.
Sarah, remember about Abby coming in college?
Well, I always tell the story. My first impression of Abby. So I was her mentor. We have mentee mentors when you go into college, and so
Yeah.
they gave me Abby. So like I didn't know Abby at all. And I remember I texted her like an intro being like, "Hey, I'm Sarah, like I'm a senior, whatever. Welcome to the team. Like let's meet up. If you need anything, let me know." Radio silence. Did not text me back. Left me on red. Didn't text me back. So I'm waiting for this girl. Everybody else is getting communication from their mentees. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I would love like advice for this. I was like, this girl's like big leaguing me. Like this freshman coming in is big leaguing me. And so I finally meet her, and she's like, "I'm so sorry. Like I was just really bad on my phone." And I was like,
No. No, the excuse was I replied. I did reply, but 2 days later, and her text, it was bad. Her text was so nice and so long, and I remember it came through, but I was at prom. And I was like, okay, I need to like read this like tomorrow and like construct a proper reply. Like not like something and then I but back then you can like do the thing where it was like you read it and then you unread it. So like it wasn't in my phone as unread. So like 2 days later I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I felt really bad.
Then I had to meet her a couple days later, and I was like, "Are we good? Me and you, are we gonna be good?" But it turned out, and we were so good. I love her.
Yeah, like one of the best videos I feel like from this PWHL season is you guys mic'd up pregame when Abby skates over and she's like, "Hey, baby girl," like that was so viral. The internet like broke over that.
It actually did. It was really funny. Like I'm scrolling on TikTok and I just see Abby's face pop up, and I'm like, "Oh shoot!" And then it was me, and I was like, "Oh God!" But that's just like how we talk to each other. It's the weirdest thing.
And people like kept being like, "Oh my God, are they like what's going on there?" Like, "Oh, we're just so weird."
Yeah, that's just how we talk to each other. It confuses people.
If nobody thinks that you're dating, you're not close enough friends. Honestly.
Exactly. Honestly, it's a compliment.
For sure.
It is through friendship, and true friends, drive each other around in Dodge Chargers with blacked out windows. That's how you know you guys are like.
I was like,
at
Abby,
Universal.
This rental car is insane right now. Like, who are we?
I said I was going to pick up the rental car, and I Ubered there before one of our games in Tampa, Florida last year for the PW. And I was like, They're like, okay, like those are all, like that section is all the cars you can pick, and it was all like pretty normal cars. And then there was one like Charger with like tinted windows, and I was like, okay, I need that.
She rolled up. She rolled up in the hotel, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. So that's how we got her in Florida for a whole week.
Were
you
people
guys
like
just,
trying to buy
like-
drugs in the window, or like?
It smelled like somebody had
It's
been
such a
actually
drug
did.
dealer car.
Yeah, it smelled like a drug dealer car, that's for sure.
Were you guys
Oh,
just
that's
like
so
going for
good.
drives because you're like, not much to do. We got this car though. We should go for a rip.
Yes.
You did, eh?
Oh my god, it was so funny. Well, we had a nice long drive from Tampa to Universal, so
Tinted windows down or up?
Up.
And like,
Up.
hold on. What
Up.
was the music being pumped in this car?
Oh my god, it was like the saddest music ever.
yeah, like I think we were depressed at that point. Yeah, we're like, how to save a life.
I feel like this is such a good song.
Oh my
we
God,
were
that's
just
so
we're,
funny.
we're in a weird place, I think, in last March.
Yeah.
I hope
Oh,
someone
that's
Good
listening
trip,
to this was like, I was there in Florida and I saw that car and I heard that music. I hope there's someone out there right now.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Too good. You guys are a blast, I gotta say. Abby, you're the best. Thanks for coming in. Are you still hungover or are you recovered?
I'm recovered. We had our big end of year party on Saturday after our last game. Thankfully,
Nice.
we ended on a win. It was really great, and obviously everybody's going their separate ways. So we all wanted to have our last little hurrah where we see everybody before the summer. So it was nice. Feeling better.
Will you
today.
be
Are you
will you
cheering
be showing up?
for anyone to
Will you-
win?
Yeah, I was gonna
Or are
say,
you,
will you be
like,
showing up
hoping
to cheer
everyone
on Team
loses?
Sarah?
I'm cheering for Sarah always. Have been so proud of her year, but I don't even know who I want to win at this point. But it's not your team. The competitor in me is like everybody fail.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
Everybody should sink.
Nobody
Can we
wins.
both lose?
Yeah. Season's over.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
This is awesome.
Well,
Thank
you guys for having me.
Thanks,
Abby,
Sarah.
thanks
Or
for
thanks,
popping
Abby.
in.
We
Bye,
appreciate you.
No,
Abby.
Sarah's
Oh,
saying. Just Abby.
Bye, Abba.
Bye.
Oh, I love that. I love you guys.
Oh my
You
God,
guys are
she's
like
so funny.
proper friends. We just wanted we had said at the beginning
She's
of the
so
year that we were
funny.
gonna we said we were gonna have Abby on just to like add a little extra sauce for some interviews. And as soon as you were like, yeah, I'm in, I'm like, we're getting Abby. Yeah, she was totally
Abby,
game
clock
sporty.
in. That's awesome.
I feel like Abby is like, she comes off as so tough and like she's so tough on the ice. I feel like she's a sensitive girl off the ice.
oh my goodness. She is
You
like,
guys and your sad songs in the dog
she's
Charger.
so cuddly. She's so cuddly, like just like the perfect, sweetest human in the whole world. But she's a menace on the ice. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The
Have you guys ever
battles
gotten
between-
into it? No, eh?
Oh,
No, we usually grab each other so we don't have to get into it. To be fair, it's kind of nice. It's like, Abby, it's
A
me.
ginger
Oh, okay.
grab on the jersey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
just start the slow dance. It's me, girl. It's me. Don't worry. I love that. You got a great relationship. Is she like your best friend in hockey, basically?
Yeah, definitely one of. Like, I think from where we started back at Wisconsin, like just being able to keep in contact, I always knew that she was such a special player. She's still my grandpa's like favorite player, actually. To be
Nice.
fair, but I always knew that she was a very special player. And even I would talk to her about playing with Team USA, and she's like, "No, I'm never gonna make it." And I'm like, "Abby, like, you're gonna make that team." And so, and I remember when she scored her first goal with Team USA. It was against us in a rivalry series, but I was just so proud of her for her to get to that moment and then to go to an Olympics. And so very proud.
Yeah.
Before
Okay,
we
last
let you
one
go,
for you. By the time
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna ask? Are you gonna ask what
Yeah,
we
by
want
the
to ask,
time
Julia?
people
That we're
hear
not sure if we're
this-
allowed.
I know. By the time people hear this, you will have already played a couple of playoff games because this is going to come out a week from today on Monday. But the decision comes down tonight between Minnesota and Boston. Can you tell us, and you probably don't want to tell us like who you'd choose if you could. Would love to know that if you want to tell us. But what was the decision-making process like? I know Troy said he was going to include you guys in it a bit.
Yeah, I think we've been having conversations ever since we clinched first place, whenever that was, a couple of games ago. We've just been having little conversations with our coaching staff, with our GM Gina as well, about how we think the season has gone, especially against the three teams that were options. So we talked about Ottawa, we talked about Boston, and also Minnesota. And it's nice we played all of those teams in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it's pretty fresh in our minds. So to be able to have conversations, pros and cons, it's definitely been like a brainstorming process. And I don't know the final decision that's going to be made at 7:30. So we'll probably find out in a couple of hours.
Oh, you actually don't know?
No.
Now?
So we've just had these conversations. I have a good idea, but there are definitely pros and cons when you look at Boston and Minnesota and how team seasons are going right now, personnel, who we match up well against. And so I'm intrigued. Yeah.
Who would you?
I know the announcements. The announcement's going to be fun, so watch out for that.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
You don't want to tell us who your pick would be? You don't have to. No pressure.
I don't. To be fair,
You can plead the
I don't mind either of them. I think throughout the season we played very well against both of them and found different ways to win every single time. And so going into playoffs, I'm pretty confident in our group and in what we have to bring.
Yeah, you should be. You guys are rolling right into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We can't wait to watch you play. We can't wait to find out who you're going to play. And thank you for doing this, Sarah. You're just a pleasure to watch on and off the ice. An amazing speaker. We've heard you don't play many other sports, but you're so good at hockey, it makes up for it. So thank you for the time today. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sarah. Have a good one. And if anybody sees a Dodge Charger driving around tinted windows, you know who it is.
That's outrageous.
Like sad as hell music.
That's outrageous. Honestly, it's like disgusting. She pulled up and I could not. I was like, I'm not getting in that car. It's too much.
But you did.
We did. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
well, thanks, girl. Good luck, eh? Have some fun.
You.
This has been a great season so far.
I will. Thanks, guys.
The Send It segment here on Jocks and Jills. You send us your questions. We do our darndest to answer them, always. Send us an email, jocksandjills@gmail.com. It's jocksandjills@gmail.com. Or drop us a line on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. I check our DMs there. Jocks and Jills on all those platforms. And make sure you're subscribing on YouTube as well and following us and engaging with us on all those platforms. We do specific kind of content for each of those platforms. Tessa's been tossing up some pre-game tee-ups and post-game breakdowns, which have been awesome. We've been loving them. So make sure you follow us there for some additional content.
I apologize. I didn't do it after the Boston Montreal triple OT because I was tired. Okay, I'm sorry.
Everyone was tired.
And then I woke up
we weren't
and it was
expecting
Mother's
one
Day.
there.
Yeah. Then I woke up and it was Mother's Day.
And this episode is coming out, so it's all good. We got to get into it anyways. But lots of other content on those platforms, so make sure you follow us there as well. Let's get into our first question here, Tess. This one is from Kim Alexander. Shireen Ahmed broke the news this week. WNBA franchise coming to Toronto in 2025. Her question is from Kim Alexander with the announcement of a WNBA franchise for Toronto. What do you think are the prospects for a purpose-built PWHL WNBA arena? It would need to be central and easily accessible by both TTC and Go, with parking for Tessa, so she drops the suggestion of moving to Mississauga and Brampton. Yes, that absolutely should be dropped. I was thinking 10 to 12K capacity, built as part of the Eastern Waterfront development or rebuild of the existing Toronto, City of Toronto rink near the main Go station. If the Leafs and Raptors can share the ACC, these teams could share a new arena. It can otherwise be available for community use. Thoughts? I love this idea, and I'm interested to see where it goes with the WNBA coming into the city, because I think that makes much more of an argument to build a new facility. So we heard that Coca-Cola Coliseum is potentially going to be the spot for this WNBA team. Toronto is already playing their postseason games at Coca-Cola Coliseum. We know that there's a lot of rules around that venue, Tess, with it being a heritage building in terms of like how much they could change on the inside. The Marleys, I know, are always kind of up against the building and up against history itself when it comes to changing anything around that room when it comes to their room and stuff like that. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of issues that presents. But in saying that, man, I think that's a great idea, and I don't know, just the fact that Tannenbaum is not privately doing the WNBA team, but separate from MLSE, makes me feel like there could be some private money maybe involved in a venue.
Yeah, I just a matter of where, right? That location. It's funny because I just started immediately thinking of where could they airdrop or what kind of space could they eat up to put a proper venue. And
Yeah. The Rico
I
or
don't know.
Coca-Cola, I mean, is just in such a good spot it's such
It
a good
is,
spot. It's
but
right
like
on the go line for people coming out of the city. There's parking there.
it's not a basketball venue. It's
You're
not
right.
it's not a basketball venue. If you look at when the WNBA game was in Edmonton, it didn't look right, if you will. It was packed. It was a great game, great atmosphere, but it didn't look right. The Scotiabank Arena is a basketball venue first, where then they put in a hockey after. That was made to be a basketball venue.
Right.
Where Coca-Cola Center isn't that. So you need a properly designed space for
So you're saying there's a chance.
I would like to see it. I think it's money well invested. Like,
Totally.
let's be honest.
Totally.
The money invested in women's sports right now, if you're not doing it, you're missing the boat. And you're clearly just living under a rock. So, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a matter of where, but I'd love to see it happen. This one is from Yvonne Winchew Donaher. A quick question about the NCAA. There was mention of Julia Gosling declaring instead of taking her 5th year of eligibility. Is that 5th year because of COVID? If she didn't declare, would she have been able to play in hockey during that 5th year, or would it just have been an extra year of education but not playing? Yeah, 4 years of NCAA eligibility in youth sports. I believe it's 5, but any winter sport athlete who was playing during the 2020-2021 season in Division I got an extra season of availability or eligibility.
The option.
So, yes. So that's why it was kind of everyone waiting to see whether or not Julia Gosling was going to declare. Nicole Gosling, her cousin, is another one people have an eye on who has an extra year of eligibility, the option for it, but doesn't have to take it per se. So there's a couple players who we have our eyes on as to whether or not they'll take that extra year.
Yeah. And the ability to declare for the draft closed, I believe, last Wednesday. So list should be coming out soon. And we'll all know very soon. But yes, they were gifted that 5th year option. I think, I don't know. I think I would take it, but I don't know if there was a professional league when I was coming out of college. Would I have done it? Probably.
It's a different world, eh? Just to have that option. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, and I mean, I loved every minute at Ohio State, obviously.
Oh, really?
So I think I would have taken it.
Yeah, for sure. Sarah Jones. This is an interesting one, Tess, and I'm sure every player will have their own perspective on this. And sometimes I even get a little buzzy after broadcast when I'm in the atmosphere. So it's an interesting topic. Sarah Jones had a question as I was buzzing last night after the game. Yeah, I don't blame you. It was like 1 a.m. and you were seeing crazy amount of hockey. How do the players get to sleep after huge games? Especially in the best of 5 series, I would think sleep is important. How are they not dealing with sleep deprivation? How early is the practice they're going to right after game night? Or how early is the travel planned after a game night? Or sleep something only middle-aged house leaguers worry about? I think everyone worries about sleep a healthy amount. So, yeah, go ahead.
To answer the question is you just don't. You get back to your room and you fall asleep at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you get up and you get after it, and then the afternoon nap is key. They have a day off in between each game, right? So I'm going to assume their coaches aren't making them get up and get to the rink by 9 a.m. I'm sure they've got, when you wake up, please go for a walk, do some type of light activity, get to the rink at this time. We're either going to do a light workout stretch or a walkthrough on the ice, whatever. Sometimes not. I'm pretty sure Montreal had the day off in between their game 1 and game 2. But yeah, just you throw in a movie on, a TV show on, you lay in bed in the hotel with whoever your roommate is, and you shoot the breeze with the lights off until you finally, shut her down. When I was like getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm seriously not gonna be able to fall asleep. If the sun's gonna come up and my eyes are gonna be open, this is don't anybody do this. I'm not telling you to do this, but I used to take a little sip of NyQuil just to help close my
I
eyes.
knew you were gonna say that. Yeah, I remember. I remember. I forget who wrote the story, but after the NHL like bubble happened during COVID, I remember them saying that like weed gummies were a hot commodity in the bubble to
I
come
bet.
down after game type of things. Guys, girls game. Like I'm sure every player has their own kind of way to get to sleep. I'm a big hot shower before bed after a broadcast type of girl to help kind of lower the cortisol levels. So everybody's got their stuff. But you're right, it is actually a thing. So hard to come down after games.
Yeah, no bueno, not fun.
Not fun, but fun to be a part of. It's been so fun to watch the first week of the PWHL playoffs, and we can't wait to break it all down with you guys next week. We'll talk to you all throughout the week on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed on those platforms. Thank you to our sponsors, CCM, our presenting sponsor of this podcast, for bringing it to you as always. Pizza, Nobis, Baton Rouge, Gatorade. We love you guys. Thank you guys mostly for listening. This past week has been awesome, the first week of the playoffs, and just getting to enjoy this ride with you guys and watching the game. So enjoy what's to come this week, and we'll talk to you on Monday.